Thank you for that introduction. Did you see what Alyssa wore today? #gross. That tweet is just one of many bullying tactics that bullies use today. As college students, you have heard about bullying, but if you haven't truly been a victim of it, you don't really understand what it can do to someone. Many of you said in the survey that bullying is the persistent harassing of others, which I completely agree with, but it's much more than that. It's making someone dread waking up every day and going to school and facing their peers. Jonna Juvonen, a UCLA professor of psychology, says that students who get bullied run the risk of not coming to school, perceiving it negatively, and doing poorly academically. If a student hates coming to school every day, it can be detrimental to their future. They'll miss lecture, do poorly on tests, might have to drop out, or not even graduate from high school. All of you have experienced the feeling of a rumor being spread about you. Some of you maybe were even tweeted about on the SAU Confessions Twitter page that was just recently banned. But in order for you to better understand the impact that bullying can really have on someone, I'm going to share my experience as a victim of bullying for 9 months. So, it was the night before my senior year, and I was ready to tackle my final year with all my girls. I'm sure you all remember the night before your senior year of high school. At my high school, there was a WikiLeaks page, like a Twitter page, and I was tweeted about, and my classmates just kind of took it and ran with it. I lost all of my friends but one by September, so pretty early on in my senior year. It started out as just bullying at school, but then eventually my classmates turned to cyberbullying. So it was just rumors being spread about me in the hallways, really untrue things, and I actually found out a lot of things about myself that I didn't know. I found notes in my locker that said, "Let's dress up as Alyssa for Halloween," or "You're never going to amount to anything." I hated waking up and walking the halls because I knew people were talking about me, saying untrue things, but there was nothing I could do to stop it. You know that feeling when you wake up on a cold winter morning and realize you have the long trek to McCarthy and you dread doing it? That was how I felt every day, but it was like going to school. So then my classmates decided to turn to social media to bully me. Also at my high school, we had Subtweet Sunday, where you would subtweet about your peers, like anyone in the high school. And subtweeting is when you say something negatively about someone on Twitter, but you don't directly tag them in it, but it's very, very obvious who it's about. And this led me to eventually delete my whole Twitter account and the app completely off my phone because I couldn't stand to read the horrible things people were saying about me every day. And as college students, you know how big of a deal Twitter is, so that was a pretty big deal for me to completely delete my Twitter account my whole senior year. A majority of you said in the survey that you have posted something on social media that could have been taken as bullying. Even though it wasn't intentional, that one post impacted someone more than many of you even realize. Paul Riliotis, Director of Department of Pediatrics at McGill University, said that the inability for victims to have any control over cyberbullying might intensify their actions in response to it. Students don't have control over the situation. They can't stop what's being posted about them. So it leads them to physically harming themselves or potentially taking their own life. I even considered transferring high schools my senior year. No one wants to go to a new school your senior year, but it had gotten that bad. This is when administration and adults should step in and do something. Lindsay O'Brien, psychology professor at Johns Hopkins University, said that students are far more likely to report bullying incidents to staff members who they have close relationships with. Unfortunately, this was not the case for me. I had told my coaches about what was going on because most of my fellow teammates were the source of the bullying. They were the ones attacking me daily. My principal, my dad's best friend, also knew what was happening, but there wasn't enough proof to stop it. Yes, there were tweets that were clearly about me, but it didn't say my name, and I ripped up the notes out of anger and frustration. The administration didn't realize what their lack of concern for the issue was, how it was affecting me. So you would think that after at least 5 months that the bullying would have stopped. I never gave them the power, I ignored it, and I tried to be the bigger person, but it never stopped. By prom, everyone's favorite memory from their senior year, I was still being bullied every day. I was dreading going, I didn't even want to go, and that's a huge deal, not going to your senior prom. So I started counting down the days until graduation, even the hours, the minutes, the seconds. As I look back on this whole situation, looking back on my whole senior year, I realized that none of what had happened to me was a result of my own actions. It was someone posting something untrue on social media, people bullying me in the hallways, and it just was simply one person not liking me and everyone turning on me. Most of you, intentionally or not, have bullied someone else or been around a bully at some point in your life. And after being a victim of bullying, it really makes me think twice about who I surround myself with and the words that I choose. I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to start over the minute I walked across that stage at graduation and received my diploma. But unfortunately, not everyone gets a redo like I do. I hope that you think twice about the words that you use and who you surround yourself with in the future. Sticks and stones can break bones, but words do in fact hurt too. Thank you.